Listen up, Packer fans. The Mike McCarthy Show starts now.
Blue condition!
From Green Bay, the straight scoop on the Packers from the head coach. It's the Mike McCarthy Show.
Welcome to the show. We are talking about a 31-24 win over the San Diego Chargers. But first up, I'd like to ask our live audience to please welcome the head coach of the 3-0 Green Bay Packers, Mike McCarthy. Towel waving this week. Something new every week.
The G-Force.
That's right. You are the first coach in Packers history to go 3-0 against playoff teams from the previous season. That's important because it says that you're not only winning, but you're winning against good teams, and you're finding a way to win these close ones, too.
Well, we've beaten 3 quality football teams. It's very important to stack your successes like we talk about all the time as a football team. But more importantly, we got to learn to win the close games. That's something that we did not accomplish last year, particularly early in the season, and we've been able to do that in our first 3 games. So actually did it twice out of the first 3 games, and that's important.
Mike, I thought there was a real physical edge to your play against the Chargers. Would you agree?
Totally. That was the focus coming into the game. We felt that they're going to come in and try to establish the run, be physical with us. You know, we kind of reminded our football team of our first preseason game out there in San Diego last year where they were clearly the more physical team in that football game. So it's just something that we want to do week in and week out. And I thought our guys really came out with a lot of urgency and were very physical for 4 quarters.
One fellow that lends a more physical approach to the game than we've seen in the past, really, is Atari Bigby. I mean, he is not bashful about sticking his nose in there. He's
a very good tackler and really did an excellent job in open field tackle. He had the big tackle there on the kickoff return. So very happy with his production at the safety position. He's a young player that's only going to improve. There's some things that he can clean up on his performance Sunday, but he did a very good job coming down and forcing on the ball carrier throughout the day.
Coach, you have the youngest team in the NFL, and now suddenly you have to teach them a little bit about how to handle success and the extra limelight that's going to be coming their way. What is your plan for that?
It's a constant focus of ours, and I go back to the first team meeting that I had when I was named the head coach for the Green Bay Packers, and I told our football team that day that the biggest challenge that we'll have to overcome is handling success. I've always believed that to be the biggest challenge as a coach, and success is measured different ways. I'm not talking about success of winning the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the success of winning 3 in a row, success of maybe getting a new contract and things like that, because there's a number of successes that come along the way. So it's a constant focus of ours, and we'll continue to keep it that way.
We've gotten a lot of emails about this next question, so I have to ask it.
Must be positive.
On 4th and goal, from inside the 1, Brett threw to Bubba, and a lot of people are wondering why you didn't try a running play, a quarterback sneak, or at least have some backs in the backfield.
Well, this is the question of the day. This is about the 5th time I've had to answer this. I'm glad we won the game. I just want to say that. But, after viewing the film, I'm comfortable with the call. I'd like to say I'm sorry. It was a bad call, but I don't feel that way. Once again, we used the empty formation a number of times in the football game. It was a formation that we felt gave us good matchups, created one-on-one situations. That was also evident on that play. It's a play that we probably could have done a better job of executing, but I'm comfortable with the call. I am a run first by nature. I know the statistics don't support that right now, but I think any time when there's a big play in the game and you put the ball in the quarterback's hands, particularly Brett Favre's, I think that's a positive decision, and I'm still comfortable with the call, and I hope this is maybe the last time I answer this today. So.
Mike, you are heavy when it comes to pass-run ratio on the pass side of the equation right now. Is too much made out of that? Is that all that big a deal to you?
No, not really, because we're 3 games into the season. I think run-pass ratio is something that you should be judged on over the course of a season or over the course of segments of your season. You do not want to be one-dimensional in any phase of the game, and our statistics would indicate that we are one-dimensional on offense right now. So we're well aware of that. I'm not really interested in throwing the ball 40-plus times a game. I know, like I said, I know we've done that. So we'll continue to keep working on the run game, and the play caller's got to call more runs for it to be successful.
Your pass protection, very solid for the most part. One of the keys to it, I think, is having your tackles block their outside linebackers who are really defensive ends disguised as outside linebackers. Did that take a lot of doing, or does your system allow for that?
It's a base part of our system. We refer to it as fan, because they have it's a guard bubble front, so we take the guard and the tackle and fan out to their defensive end and outside linebackers. Frankly, I anticipated seeing a lot more inside pressure because of our approach in the protection. We did not see inside pressure throughout most of the game. So our offensive line did an outstanding job on pass protection, probably one of the better performances that I've seen in my time here in Green Bay. Frankly, the offensive line will receive the game ball tomorrow. You guys are getting the scoop on that first, so I don't think any of these guys are watching, but they played very well, and it enabled Brett to get back here and throw a bunch of completions.
Two of the unsung heroes, I thought, were Mason Crosby and John Ryan. They each delivered the kickoff or the punt when you needed it.
I don't think we could have performed any better as far as the kicking. I thought John's punting was exceptional. The two of them particularly that he hit, especially the one right there before the half, was a big punt. So what can you say about Mason? He just keeps kicking into the back of the end zone on kickoffs. That's the best kickoff coverage you have going there. So I'm very, very happy with their performance.
Mike, thank you. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll be joined by one of the stars of the game. Who is he? See if you can guess.
Inverted wishbone, quick count, quick toss, left side, Jennings on the slant. He's got yardage inside the 15, close to the first down near the 12-yard line.
To help the Packers get to 3-0. Please welcome wide receiver Greg Jennings. So Greg, after that 57-yard touchdown, everybody was just jumping on you in the end zone. So my first question is, what was it like at the bottom of that pile?
It felt great, number one. I went down on the knee, and Bubba came and I wanted to hold on to the ball. And Bubba came and just tackled me, and then everybody else came and jumped on me. And it was all she wrote from there. Then I jumped into the stands, and they didn't want to let me go. So, but it was a great experience, a great feeling.
And what did Brett say to you after that touchdown?
I came to the sideline, and everybody was around him, and everybody was kind of on me. Then I kind of hooked up with him, and he just gave me a hug and told me that he loved me, and that made me feel real good, that he loves somebody other than Driver.
Lots of love to go around right now.
Definitely.
You actually caught Favre's 400th touchdown last year, and now you caught number 420. I mean, this is something you can tell your grandkids about. How special is all of this?
Oh, it's very special. First of all, it's a phenomenal feat for Brett himself individually, and for the team, it was a great moment to do it, down and game-winning touchdown. It was just a huge moment, and I definitely can tell my daughter and my grandchildren. Hopefully, she has some in the far future.
Long way away, absolutely. Do all of the receivers want to be the one to catch number 421?
I don't know. We know Driver wants to catch that. We actually all want Driver to catch that as well. He's been with Brett the longest, and it definitely would be a great moment if they can hook up on that one. But obviously, if that doesn't happen, we're all on the same team. We're all trying to reach the same goals.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, Greg missed the first 2 games with a hamstring injury. What does it mean to your offense to have him back?
Well, he won the game. I think that speaks volumes. He's an exciting player. We're very good when the ball is in the hands of our perimeter people, in particular Greg Jennings. So he's a big part of what we believe in and how the game should be played. He's getting better every week. Well, I always say nice things about you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, just not when you're here. That's all.
Right in front of a live audience. That's always nice. Coach, a couple of plays stand out from last year when Greg lateraled to Driver in Minnesota, and then when he signaled to Favre that Ravell Martin was open against the 49ers. Does he show good awareness for such a young age?
Well, the lateral was we're just glad that worked out.
Right.
That's one of those Yeah, so that was a good play for. But yeah, he's very smart player. The game comes very natural to him, very instinctive. He does things that you can't really teach. He has a lot of experience. I think that really goes back to his college days. A very productive college player, and I'm just glad he's on our team.
One of your greatest strengths seems to be yards after the catch. Would you agree, and why?
Definitely. In college, that was one of the things I harped on. The way I feel as a receiver, and I think our whole entire receiving corps feels, is, we have one or two guys to beat. And if we can beat, obviously, the corner, then we have the safety to beat. And if we can make one or maybe two guys at the most miss, then your odds of taking it to the house is pretty good. So we kind of, in our room, kind of harp on that.
And you mentioned your daughter. I'd like to just get a shot of your wife and your daughter. They're here in the audience today. Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Just one quick question. How has fatherhood changed or matured you?
It's definitely changed me. Coming home after practices, tired, not really wanting to play around, but knowing that I have to because my daughter is woke. It's definitely matured me a lot. Allows me to look at life a lot differently. You don't take as much for granted. When you see other kids around, definitely with my signature signing now, I can't, little girls get me. I just have to sign, so that's a plus, but it definitely has helped me along the way of becoming much more mature.
Greg Jennings, thanks for your time today, and best of luck the whole rest of the way. Thank you very much. And Greg is going to stick around and join us in the next segment to describe his 57-yard touchdown. Stay right there.
Chargers 4-man rush, far quick throw on the slant. Man cutting rush, looking free. Into the clear to the 20, to the 15, 10, 5. Greg Jennings to a Green Bay lead. 57 yards.
Welcome back, and we are calling an audible instead of the microscope. We're going to have the Gregoscope. You excited about that, Greg?
I'm excited.
All right, this is, of course, the play. What's it called?
It was called Denver X Dragon. Actually, it's just Denver. It's a pretty basic play. We run this quite a bit, and I'm on the backside here. A lot of the time, as you see the driver right here in motion, we're looking for driver to catch it right around this area. But it just so happened when we lined up, the formation actually played to our advantage. They were in a cover 3 look, kind of a man-free type look. And as you see me, I'm here at the top. All I needed to do was beat my guy. And before the snap, Brett actually looked out at me and kind of looked at me again for a double take, like, is this really happening? And as you see, I catch the ball here, and there's no one there to make the play after that. So. And let me point this out. Let me point this out right about. Let it keep going a little bit. Right there, that right there is gonna get me in trouble.
If we could real quick go back to the release, because that's what I wanted to ask you about. Okay, when you're coming off the line of scrimmage, how much freedom do you have to improvise? How much is here's the technique you got to use to get an inside release?
Let me start by saying all game I was actually using the outside technique, and I was kind of pressuring them to open their hips up outside and beat them inside. And this particular play, Brett has always told us, beat them at the line versus just trying to get open. So I tried to be patient. I didn't want to use the same outside technique they had saw the whole entire game, and I just kind of hesitated a little bit, gave a couple steps, and
Stop it there, please. Okay, one other thing I wanted to ask you about, Greg. Okay, I haven't seen anybody that's quicker transitioning from wide receiver to ball carrier. Now, you're doing it at warp speed. You must just have a sixth sense because it happens too fast to think it through. I mean, you have a great awareness of where the defense is and what you have to do to beat it.
Well, it's all about seeing the defense and what they're trying to do schematically before the play is even snapped. And when I saw the safety high, I knew immediately when he threw it to the left, the pursuit was going to be already flowing to the left side of the field. So I knew if I cut back across the grain, there might be a shot at me going our way.
Greg Jennings for 57 yards. Coming up, the fan forum. Stay tuned.
Stick around for more of the Mike McCarthy Show!
Celebrate 50 historic years of Lambeau Field with the Lambeau Legends Medallion Collection. Now through October 21st, get a free album from participating retailers and look for daily medallion coupons in your local newspaper. Start today and collect all 24 Lambeau Legends medallions.
Welcome back. It is time for the fan forum, and outside of Packer Nut, you are known as?
Mike Weiland.
Mike, what's your question?
Number one, I want to thank you for the victory. I'm from Milwaukee originally, but I live in San Diego, so thank you, number one, for that.
You're welcome.
From a layman or from an outside looking in, you seem to have the best job in the world. I would imagine there's a lot of pressure and stress that go with that, so how do you handle that?
I clearly do believe that I do have the best job in all of professional sports, but to handle the stress of it, I think I'm just so busy I really don't think about it, frankly. It's I enjoy coming to work every day, but I don't really give it much thought.
Mike, we have an email question from Mark in Winneconne. Coach McCarthy, I couldn't be happier with a 3-0 record, but after the first 3 weeks of the season, the Packers are dead last in rushing offense at 57 yards per game. Do you feel the Packers can make the playoffs if the lack of a running game continues?
We're going to rush the ball better. I can promise you that in the future. But I don't think they'll hold you out of the playoffs if you are last in the league in rushing. Number one, our rushing attack is more about the attempts. We haven't really committed to a run game in our first 3 games, and that's something that we'll focus on as we move forward.
Our next email question is from Robert in Schaumburg, Illinois. This next game has all the makings of a trap game, referring to the Vikings game. How do you plan to keep the team focused on this upcoming game and not look ahead?
Well, it's a division game. It's a rival game for us, so we'll be ready to play. I can assure you that. It's always a tough place to play up there in the Metrodome. We played well up there last year, so we need to really hit the focus starting Wednesday as far as the crowd noise and so forth. So I don't foresee any letdown on our football team.
Next up we have?
Joan from Green Bay. And I'm wondering who made the call or how was it decided? I know the fans would have liked to see Brett break the record as opposed to just tying it on the passing touchdowns, not to pass on the end.
Well, I've been really criticized for the 4th and 1 call. I was trying to break it then. I mean, because I knew Greg was going to score later. We needed to run the football there, and frankly, we need to stay in bounds on the first one. Brandon bounced the ball outside because something happened in the blocking scheme and was trying to get in the end zone. But you're fighting the clock and things like that. They still had 2 timeouts left, so we needed to get the clock down to 54 seconds where the time could run out. So running the football to me, it was a no-brainer.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks to our questioners. Coming up, we'll look ahead to those Minnesota Vikings. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Don Lee. You're watching Mike McCarthy Show.
Back once again on the Mike McCarthy Show, and it is Viking Week, and the Metrodome is certainly one of the loudest places in the entire NFL to play. What will you guys do to help account for some of that noise?
Well, we'll start working with the crowd noise in our practice. We'll practice inside in the Hudson Center because we're playing inside. It's the same surface, so we'll start working the crowd noise in practice and do the silent count and things like that.
Mike, very personal opinion, but I think the Vikings have surpassed the Bears in the locker room as your number one rival. Any thoughts on that?
I think a lot of our players would agree with you. So we'll just say they're both our rivals, and we'll take it at that. This is a big game. Our guys really get up for this game, and it'll be an exciting one Sunday.
Mike, thank you, and thank you here at Turley Pub, and thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.